I want to start with the election this month, and let's just do some Monday morning quarterbacking. It's one of my favorite things to do after an election. The president, of course, picked up Pennsylvania's 20 electoral votes on his way to re-election. The difference in our state was about 290,000 votes. Could Mitt Romney have won Pennsylvania if he paid more attention to us early on?
Well, that's really hard to say at this point. The right before the election, the last week before the election, we in the Republican Party, at least I was, and many other people, thought we felt a great deal of momentum going forward, and we didn't see any ground game going on the Democrat side. Mm-hmm. And they obviously did something that allowed them to get their vote out, and without showing their hand beforehand. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of it has to do with just the type of candidate that President Obama is. I can remember early on, summer a year ago, I was sitting actually in the White House Rose Garden at a dinner that I had been invited to, sitting next to a Democrat National Committee woman, and she didn't realize I was the Republican governor of Pennsylvania.
Good research on her part.
And she started talking to me, and she said, well, what do you think the president's chances are in Pennsylvania next year? I said, well, the incumbent has a 10-point advantage right up front, in my opinion. And I think that held true. He had the 10-point advantage. We got it down across the country, closer election. Look at the popular vote, very close election. And we just didn't do it well enough.
He did ignore the state for a long time and then jump in at the end. And it just seems to me with that, even the 290,000 vote difference in the state, a lot of that might have gone away.
A lot of that, and it's very hard to overcome Philadelphia.
It is.
And
you're right.
If you look at that difference, it came right out of the city of Philadelphia. Yeah. Very hard to overcome that.
And Governor, billions of dollars are spent on these federal elections, especially in this presidential race. But when you look at the makeup in Washington, D.C., nothing's really changing after this election,
and not much changing in Harrisburg in the General Assembly.
Do you see anything changing the gridlock, at least in the Washington D.C. front, from as we move forward here?
Well, I think they're going to have to face the issue of sequestration and the fiscal cliff that's coming at the end of this year. So let's see what happens there. I think probably most people don't understand how severe that fiscal cliff is.
I guarantee you they don't.
How severe the sequestration. They think life is going to continue to go on, and if we see the financial cuts coming from Washington, they're going to come right here to Pennsylvania. They're going to get passed right along to the counties and the school districts and everything else. So there's going to be two things. One, a reduction in money, and two, an increase in taxes at the same time. And I think people are going to be very unhappy.
I think it's one of those things. There's been a lot of talk, obviously, the last couple of years about the belt tightening that we've had to do in Pennsylvania. And if that happens, it's a you ain't seen nothing yet situation.
We have been tightening within a $29 billion down to $27 billion budget, living within our means. The discussions that they're having in Washington are going to make us look like we were at a picnic.